What is up, guys? So today we're going to do something a little bit different today. We're going to do like a two-part video. The first part is going to be like a funny video talking about one of my favourite lolcows at the minute is a guy called Cyrax the Troll. And then I'm going to do another part talking about how drugs like ruined my brain to a point where I was losing my mind. And it's a very scary place to be when you're not in control of your own mind. There's a great quote from Norman Bates in Psycho, where he looks at the camera and he says, "We all go a little mad sometimes." But I can tell you, it is not fun when you lose your mind. So anyway, that's what we're going to do, like a two-part video. So the first part, we're going to talk about my favourite lolcow at the minute. And when I say favourite lolcow, I don't mean I support this guy, because he's a real horrible individual. He's been caught trying to groom minors, showing his knob to children, and he got kicked out of school for some naughty behaviour. He's racist, he's homophobic, he's just a real nasty person. And the thing is, I don't support him, I support the people that are messing with him, because the people have been messing with him for over 10 years now, and the whole lore of it is just hilarious. There's so many twists and turns, he keeps falling for the catfishers, and it's brilliant. And so yeah, now Cyrax the Troll, if you've not seen him before, go and Google him. He is very unfortunate looking. He's got some kind of disease or something where he was only born with half a lung and all his bones are twisted, and it looks like the guy from 300, you know, that betrays them. He's got wonky eyes, he don't go in the shower, he don't bathe, he don't wash his clothes, so all his teeth are rotten and falling out. He's got scabs all up his head because he's not washing himself. And he's a real nasty piece of work. So yeah, just to look at him, he's always slavering. He's like, ugh, the guy's disgusting. And he did get kicked out of school, but like if you see someone like that, usually you'd feel sorry for them. You say, I don't want to make fun of him, but this guy's been caught grooming minors. You know, when he was at school, so it's a green light in my opinion. When he was in school, he got kicked out because he had one friend at school, and it was a blind kid. And what he did, he took advantage of this blind kid, went behind him, pulled his pants down, and tried, like, taking his cheeks. A freaking blind kid, so he got suspended from, well, he got kicked out of school, he had to move states, and he started a YouTube channel. And because he looks so ridiculous, people are watching, you know, and then people were, like, catfishing him because he's so racist and homophobic. People wanted to mess with him. So there was catfished him, pretended to be, like, 12-year-old. A 12-year-old, and he was like showing his knob and saying, "Oh yeah, come round," you know, just real nasty, horrible stuff. And then when he got caught, he did what they always do, you know, like what Decker does. "Oh, it wasn't my fault, it's the trolls, I didn't do anything wrong," even though it's all documented. And so yeah, they've been messing with him for ages now. And one of my favourite parts was, there's so many parts, he's still going now. They got him last month with a glitter bomb, which is, I'm going to talk about that. But I think probably my favourite one was when they got him with a record label, because this guy thinks he's a singer. He's always doing videos, thinks he's like a rock star, and he plays the guitar. He's absolutely terrible at all of it. But he thinks he's great. So they've reached out to him and they're saying, "Oh yeah, we think you're brilliant. You've got the look, you've got the voice. We want to sign you to our label," and he thinks it's all real. So he's like, yeah, I'll sign. And anyway, they've done this deal with him, and the next morning he showed up for his video, and he's got the sunglasses on, he's got a new coat on, and he's flexing, saying, "Yeah, just been signed to my new label. Shout out the Bender Boys." They've signed him to a label called Bender Boys. And he's just clueless, you know, he thinks it's real, and he's like, "Yeah, well, I thought I'd come on here and just rock the swagger, boys. I'm making it to the top now." It was just absolutely hilarious. And then they did a video saying that, "We've sold your contract," and he started screaming, raging, "Why would you do that?" And he's known for raging and screaming. So I think that was one of my favourite pranks, what they got him with. And there was another one, there was a guy called Music Biz Marty, and he's just been messing with him for ages now. And he actually went to his town because Cyrax the Troll was saying I'm going to whoop you. And he was doing videos saying, don't come around me, I'm scared of what I'll do to you. And he's walking around with an hammer and saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. So he went to his town, because this guy, remember, he's only like, I think he's like 4'9" or something. That's why they call him Cyrax the troll. He looks like a little goblin or like a little troll. And he's always running his mouth like he's about that life. So he's saying, yeah, you come down here, I'm afraid of what I'll do to you. So he goes down there. And he's like, well, I'm here. Come on then, show up. And he did like a live stream. And he showed up. I was like, wow, fair play, you know. He fucking showed up. So he's gone round there. And you can see him coming into the camera. It's a very grainy footage. But you can see like what's going on. You can hear it more than anything. And he comes running up going, whoa, you know, shouting and screaming, running his mouth. And apparently he's gone to throw a punch. This dude's just picked him up, slammed him on the floor, and started like pile driving him. And you can hear Cyrax on the floor screaming like a little girl, going, screaming, really screaming, sounds like a little girl, screaming, and he's saying, please let me go, please. And then he says, that Music Biz Marty's like pounding him, and he says, who's the best? And he's going, you are. And then he says, Who's the man? He's going, you are, please let me go. And then he's let him go, and he's like scuttled away. And then he's done, and he's gone home and he's phoned the police. So he's run up on this guy. He's got whooped, got tucked down, screamed like a girl, said that he's the best man in the world, said that he's the champ. And then he's gone home and phoned the police. It was him what ran up on him. And then he's done a live, he had a ninja outfit on, black eye, nose all busted. And he's saying, oh, see, I told you I'm about that life. I told you, I'm not afraid to bang. It's like, bro, you literally you ran up, started screaming. And listen, if he had just showed up, took his licks, you know, and just come back home and said, oh, well, you know, I lost this one, but at least I showed up, then people probably would have thought, fair play, mate, you know, at least you showed up, you got whooped, but at least you showed up. But he didn't. He went there, screamed like a girl, ran home, phoned the police, and now he's doing a live thing in a ninja outfit saying, I'm not afraid to bang, I showed you all, I show up and I show out. So yeah, but you phoned the but honest to God, it is so funny. And they've just got him with another one like last month, because what they did was, he's got Xboxes and PCs, and that's how he makes his videos. So I think it was Music Biz Marty's got in touch with him and said, oh, I've got some new things for you to download, loads of free games and software. And he was like, oh, nice one. So he sent him it in the post, and he's plugged this dongle thing in to his computer and his PC and his Xbox Live. And it was a kill stick, so it's just ruined all of his appliances. And the guy's got no money, so he can't buy no new ones. So he's just plugged this kill stick in, and it's just destroyed everything. And he's going, why would you do screaming and raging again. And anyway, this one lass, I can't remember her name, she's got in touch with him, and she says, oh, I feel sorry for you, you know, just messing with him. And she says, I'll send you some money so you can buy a new Xbox, so you can buy a new PC, because I love your content, and you know, just fucking with him. And she says, I'm going to send you some money. So she's got £1,500. She's put it in, she's videoed herself on a live stream with him, talking to him, and she's saying, look, I'm going to send you this money, put it in a box, taped it up, you know. And obviously she switched the box out when she was off camera, but Cyrax is too stupid to figure this out. So she's videoed herself giving the package to the postman and saying, hey, I've sent it for you. And he's going, oh, nice one. And anyway, he did a live stream saying, I've got it. And he's gone out of the room. He's come back in, he's covered in glitter, and he's going, we've got a problem. The trolls have switched the box. It was a glitter bomb. And she's going, no, it won't worry. Oh, no. And he's going, yeah, I can't believe it. I don't know how they intercepted it. And she's stringing him along, and then at the end of the video, she says, oh, maybe it was me what sent you that glitter bomb. And he starts off again going, why would you do this, screaming and shouting, it's fucking hilarious. So yeah, that's one of my favourite lolcows at the moment. Cyrax the troll, that's just a drop in the ocean compared to all the stuff what they've got on him, all the nasty, horrible, homophobic, racist, wrong and stuff what he's done over the years, and they're just messing with him. And it is nice to see people getting held accountable for it, but yeah, that's Cyrax the troll. So go and Google him and go and have a laugh at his demise. So yeah, losing your mind when you're on drugs. Now, before I got clean this time, I was in a horrible place, real bad place. I'd lost all hope. I was a raging alcoholic. I mean, you look at me now, I look thin. I don't look too bad for my age, and to see what I've been through, like long-term 20 years of addiction, homelessness, prison, alcoholism. And before I got clean this time, I was massively overweight. I've lost between 6 and 7 stone to get to where I am now. I was an alcoholic. I was smoking crack every single day. I was on Valium, Xanax, pregabalin, gabapentin, just sheets and sheets of tablets. I would wake up drinking beer and have 10 Valium, and then I'd have tablets all throughout the day. I'd be smoking crack all throughout the day. I was going out shoplifting, and I was in a hell on earth. You couldn't get any worse. All I used to do was think about ways that I could end myself. And I would think, I had this reoccurring thought of, and I don't want to sound too miserable and dark, but I would wrap a comfy thing around my neck, I don't know what you're allowed to say on YouTube, and I would dream of, the merry-go-rounds, of just putting it around my neck, tying it to that, and then just pressing the button, so I would swing round and I would drift away into nothingness. And I used to dream about that every single day. As soon as I opened my eyes in the morning, I was filled with misery and dread, because I just couldn't cope anymore. I couldn't go on anymore. And all I wanted to do was die. And then I ended up trying to do just that. And I failed at that. I've documented it before. I don't want to rehash it, but my plan was to take a load of pills, and I did the morphine to numb all my body, and then the paracetamol. I drank a bottle of vodka to numb all my body, and then take a load of paracetamol. But I drank the vodka so fast, I was too drunk. There was just things pinging all over, and by the time I'd got all the paracetamols out, I just crashed out on the floor and woke up covered in sick and pills everywhere. It was like a scene from fucking Train Spotting or something. And that was my lowest point. That's what triggered me. Okay, you've got to get yourself sorted now, and that's all it takes, really. 1 second when you make up your mind, boom, that's it, no more, I ain't doing this anymore. Because I was pretty much dead already in my mind. I would have probably lasted another 6 months if I'd have carried on going like that. Because you're not supposed to stop alcohol dead, you're not supposed to stop Valium dead. But because you can cause strokes, it can be really, really bad for you. But I was dying anyway. I welcomed it. So I thought, well, I'm just going to stop. And my God, it was so bad. Months I was ill. Months I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't stay on my bed. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't do nothing. I was just it was horrible. But I got through it, and that's when the real problems started, with the anxiety, the depression, the real bad low moods, where one day I'll be okay. I'll think, it's not too bad, and then something will happen, and then I'll go in a downward spiral, and I start thinking, what's the point, and all the negative things come into my mind, and then you've got the anxiety. I can't live the life I want to live. I want to go out and do podcasts and interact with people, and I can't because I've got this crushing anxiety. And if I'm out and about and people talk to me, I'll start burning up and I'll get uncomfortable and I have to get away. And it's horrible. All I want to do is just be able to talk to people like who I am as a person, and that's why this channel is so great for me, because I could do that. And the thing what's funny now is when I was an addict, when I was I was a laughing stock really. I was out of control, I was stealing all the time, I was always trying to get money, so I was probably a pest to be around. And people would like shoo me away, it's like, no, go away, we don't want no to do with you. But now I'm clean, now I'm sober, people do want something to do with me, you know, and it's a little bit overwhelming. People who I don't even know coming up saying, oh, how's it going, Paddy, you know, shaking my hand, how you doing, oh, you're all right, you know, we watch you on YouTube, and it's just so surreal how I've gone from being a suicidal mess, overweight, disgusting, laughing stock mess with people messing with me and laughing at me, to being somebody who people kind of admire and respect. You know, I've had people come up to me saying, I love your videos, they've helped me through these dark times, we love your sense of humour, you know, you've inspired me to go and do this and do that. So it's crazy, it's like night and day, and it can be overwhelming, but that's why I would say anybody, if you're struggling, just make a YouTube channel and talk about it. You'll be surprised how many people out there are struggling. But yeah, when I was at one of my lowest points as well, was when I got sacked from work, and it was my own fault. You know, I was turning up off my own Valium, walking into walls and falling asleep at work, so of course they had to sack me. But I didn't take it well. I went away, and because I had loads of money, because I was working, I had like over 20 grand in the bank, I just bought a big chunk of crack, loads of beer and loads of tablets, and I just sat for like 3 days just smoking crack and no sleep. And when you don't sleep, you start hallucinating, and that's what happened. I thought there was a naked cult living in the back garden, and I was looking out and I could see these naked cult members running around, but like when I tried zoning in on them, I couldn't quite see them. You know, it was like, oh, that's just a plant pot, and then I'd see them moving over there. And I was convinced there was there. I run out with a machete. Well, it's not a machete. It's like a door hinge, what I've sharpened into like a machete, you know. And I've run out going, oh, fucking get away. There's nobody there. All the neighbours were looking out. And then I got into bed and I could see like a dark entity like floating at my window. And it looked like the guy from Jeepers Creepers. I've mentioned this before. And he was just like hovering at my window, looking at me, and I looked over, and I wasn't scared. I just remember thinking, I can see you, you know, I know you're there, I can see you. And then I rolled over, and then I looked back around, and it was still there, and I'm like, yeah, I can still see you. And I went to bed thinking, you know, everybody's going to see tomorrow that I'm right, there's people out there. And of course, there was nothing there. And I woke up the next morning, I was so embarrassed and ashamed. I was like, man, there's no one there. And I started thinking, what happens if somebody had been there, you know, and I could have struck them down with this thingy, because I'm not a violent person. I'm as laid back as they come. I don't like knives and blades, but I was pushed to a point when I was an addict where that's all I could think about. And it was when I was selling heroin and crack. It was a real nasty time. I was in this house, and there was people coming to the front door, people coming to the back door. There was the taxmen coming in, beating the fucking dog shit out of me. You know, busted on my jaw, both my eyes were shut, and I got robbed and taxed. And then, you know, there's people trying to set me up, there's cops coming round. I just felt people coming short with money, and people like mouthing, like when they say, oh, gives a lay, I'm like, no, I can't do no fucking layons, and then you start arguing, and it all comes and pushes down on your head, you know. And I remember I went round after I'd been jumped and robbed, to see this prostitute who was, I used to go to school with her actually, but she's not here anymore, which I know you hear that all the time, but that's the world of addiction. And I went round, and she says, oh, just come on in. And she said, she couldn't even recognise me. She said, oh, they've made a right mess. She said, I didn't even recognise you. And I remember talking to her, I said, I'm going to end up doing something crazy here, man. They're just pushing me and pushing me and pushing me. And all I could think about was blades and knives. And I was even planning it out, saying, right, if they come in again, straight in the neck. That's it. No playing, no messing. I don't give a fuck. You don't care about prison. You don't care. You know, that's all I could think about. I didn't really get much time to myself because I was always running around meeting people. But any time I did get to myself, I would think about murdering people, you know, and stashing blades where I could get at them if they came back round. And, you know, there was times where people were trying to come in, and I'm stood there with a big freaking kitchen knife, and I'm like, this is not me, you know what I mean? how have I ended up here? And that's how it messes with you. And I even got pushed to one point, right, by, I've never really spoke about this, but it was a time when somebody was just pecking at my head and pecking at my head. And I did have like a psychotic break. And I remember walking up to the dude, but then the next thing I remember is I'm just sat breathing heavy and all my throat had swollen up. And I was just sat there panting, and then I looked over and the dude's like laid on the floor saying, "Oh, you've done me," something like that. And I can't remember what happened. It was surreal. It was like a psychotic break, and I can't remember even touching him. But obviously I did, and that's what happens. You know, when you see murderers talking about it, because I've always been fascinated by murderers and killers, and watching like Richard Ramirez and Ed Gein, and I've always been fascinated by murders because that's like the total opposite of who I am. I could never imagine doing that to anybody. You know, I could never even imagine hurting an animal, let alone a human being. So I've always been fascinated, and I used to watch it and think, how can you do that? That Green River Killer guy killed like 60 women, just took their lives and threw them in a river. And I'm like, how can you live with that on your conscience, you know? And you would hear these killers talking about, oh yeah, I was being chased by demons, there was shadows chasing me, and you know, and God was telling me to do this. And I used to think, oh, what a load of crap. But then when it happened to me, when I was hallucinating and seeing things, I'm like, fucking hell, this, you know, that's probably real what they're saying. If you're not in control of your own mind and your own actions, it's a very, very scary place to be. And like I always used to, I've done a lot of acid in my time. I used to have acid when I was at school, and I would just ride around the fucking around Doncaster with my headphones on, tripping off my head, like buzzing. And I used to hear people say, oh yeah, I had some acid last night, I got chased by a Mars bar rapper and all the trees were after me. And I'm like, it's just full of shit, man. I've had plenty of acid in my time. Loads. Enough for everyone. And I've never once hallucinated from it. You know, when you have acid, it changes you. It makes you laugh at things that aren't usually that funny. And you can see trails, you know, like if something goes past too quick, you can see the trail of it, and the lights are a bit weird. But, you know, you don't full on hallucinate. But the one time I did was when I was smoking crack for 3 days, lack of sleep. And another thing what I used to get was crack psychosis, and this thing like when you wake up in the morning, but you can't wake up. It's horrible. It's like you're stuck in limbo. You're not asleep, but you're not awake. You're like stuck in the middle. And you want to wake up, but you can't. It's an horrible feeling. I used to get it all the time when I was on crack and when I was an alcoholic. And then when you do wake up, you just feel awful all over. I forget what you call it. Is it like... I can't remember. I know there's a word for it. But anyway, yeah, that's the video for today. So, you know, one a little bit funny and then a more serious thing. And if you've heard me talk about this stuff before, I do try and do it in a creative, funny way so you can still watch it again and enjoy the video. And if you haven't seen Cyrax the troll, go and Google him. He's alright, strange looking fucker. And just remember, the guy's a wrong'un, so he deserves everything he gets. Now, it's the law of YouTube. Because I'm blinged up, you must run to the comment section and write Goldie looking chain or run THC or something like that. It's the law. But anyway, if you like this video, press the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Bonne de douche.